Planet Earth is a dangerous place. Life faces many challenges to survive. Ice ages, climate change, major impacts from space, volcanism, fire, flood, pole shifts. So far, in our 4 million year journey, humanity has beaten the odds. But it's been a close thing. One million years ago, the gene pool of humanity was reduced to around 20,000 individuals. For about 1 million years, our species was more endangered than the gorillas and chimpanzees are today. For all that time, the global human population did not exceed 26,000 individuals and dropped to as low as 18,500 hominids. The geneticist Lynn B. Jord and colleagues at the University of Utah claim our early ancestors had more genetic diversity than we do today, and that a catastrophic event took place at a global scale some 1 million years ago. This generated the genetic bottleneck and endangered our species. This period of fragile clinging to life came to an end about 70,000 years ago, with another near extinction and genetic bottleneck. This was caused by the Toba eruption. After this time, our ancestors re-emerged from Africa into Europe, the Middle East, Asia, and America. Jord's study shows our species was repeatedly on the verge of going extinct. New discoveries reveal that many major natural cataclysms played a part in the continued evolution and history of humanity. The cause of glaciation is related to several simultaneously occurring factors, such as astronomical cycles, atmospheric composition, plate tectonics, and ocean currents. For the last 2.5 million years, Earth has been in the Quaternary Ice Age. The climate has experienced periodic glaciations, with continental glaciers moving as far from the poles as 40 degrees latitude. There have been at least 12 periods of glaciation and interglacial warming in the last 1 million years, each lasting between 40,000 and 100,000 years. Ice ages, by their nature, affect the climate. Changing weather patterns lead to floods, droughts, famines, coastline variation, some open or closed land bridges, continents sink and rise. Emerging migratory human populations inhabited and then abandoned areas of the Earth as ice sheets expanded or collapsed. Between 1.2 million and 800,000 years ago, the Earth's poles flipped 4 times, with an average period of 125,000 years. The effects of pole shift on Earth are contentious. Some claim the effects are catastrophic, featuring Earth crust displacement, earthquakes, widespread volcanism, increased cosmic radiation, and climate change. Whatever the truth of these theories, new research in many fields shows that life has a complex and interdependent relationship with Earth's electromagnetic energy field. Humans, and indeed all life on Earth, is inextricably woven into the Earth's electromagnetic activity. Loss or diminution of the magnetosphere increases radiation, possibly leading to mutation, birth defects, and sickness. Pole reversal would alter migratory routes of birds, fish, and even mammals. Regardless of the scale of impact on humans, its effect would be tangible and long-lasting, with each pole shift taking between 1 to 10,000 years to complete and being accompanied by major excursions of the poles before and after. The role of earthquakes and volcanoes as isolated events unconnected to glaciation or pole shifts is well documented. Large basalt calderas are known to open up periodically on Earth, releasing vast amounts of greenhouse gases, dimming the sun's rays, and creating cooler climates, locally or globally. The Volcanic Explosivity Index, VEI, devised by Chris Newell of the US Geological Survey and Stephen Self at the University of Hawaii in 1982, provide a relative measure of the explosiveness of volcanic eruptions. Volume of products, eruption cloud, and qualitative observations are used to determine the explosivity value. The scale is open-ended, with the largest volcanoes in history given magnitude 8. In the last 1.2 million years, there have been over 30 eruptions of 8 magnitude all over Earth. Every one of these is greater in power than the eruption of Krakatoa. Magnitude 6 eruptions like Krakatoa have occurred over 70 times in the last 1.2 million years. This is Lake Bosumtwi, about 30 kilometers southeast of Kumasi in Ghana. In the crystalline bedrock of the West African Shield lies the country's only natural lake. The impact of a meteorite some 1.3 million years ago opened up a hole in the ground with a 6-mile diameter. Its effect on life in Africa must have been devastating. New craters are being discovered regularly as imaging technology evolves. However, due to Earth's surface being largely water, most impact sites will never be known. There is evidence of a major impact in Southeast Asia only 800,000 years ago. In 1994, scientists estimated the diameter of the impact crater to be between 32 and 114 kilometers. This impact must have had severe regional consequences, and may have been a very close call for the survival of mankind. Over the past million years, at least 5 impacts sufficient to cause moderate to severe global climate disruption are predicted to have taken place. A study in 2001 suggests that such impacts occurring at crucial locations and times punctuated human evolution or influenced hominid speciation. For a million years, Homo erectus and other hominid species endured multiple cataclysms, glaciations, pole shifts, comets or meteor impacts. These events, far from being unusual or sporadic, are regular and inevitable. These circumstances represent a forcing effect on the evolution of all life and certainly played a part in human development, including our acquisition of language. There is no consensus on the origin of language in the human species. We assume early humans communicated in order to hunt, pass on skills, and structure activities. The term proto-language, as defined by linguist Derek Bickerton, is a primitive form of communication lacking a fully developed syntax, tense, aspect, auxiliary verbs, etc. This is a stage in evolution of language somewhere between the language of great apes and modern human language. Bickerton places the first emergence of such proto-language with the earliest appearance of Homo and associates its appearance with the pressure of behavioral adaptation to the niche construction of scavenging faced by Homo habilis. Anatomically modern humans first appear in the fossil record 195,000 years ago in Ethiopia. The development of fully modern behavior in Homo sapiens is dated to some 70,000 to 50,000 years ago. If modern language relies upon features present only in modern humans, such as cavities and brain development, Then it arrived between 70,000 and 200,000 years ago. It has been known for some time that Homo erectus moved from Africa as far as the coast of mainland Southeast Asia. Stone tools dated to around 800,000 years ago have been found on the island of Flores, midway between Java and Australia. This suggests that this ancient human might have been able to cross short water gaps. However, new evidence shows that early hominids, such as Homo erectus, systematically used rafts hundreds of thousands of years ago. Experts suggest that stone hand axes found in the Mediterranean basin and on the island of Crete might have been used by these people to construct rafts and other types of vessel to visit southern Europe and all other islands in between. The main starting point of these incursions was North Africa. Archaeologist Thomas Strasser, Providence College in Rhode Island, says several hundred double-edged cutting tools were unearthed there. All of them are dated to at least 130,000 years ago. Some of them may actually be older than that. According to Strasser, the design of these axes closely resembles the one found in other Homo erectus tools, dating back at least 800,000 years. We're just going to have to accept that as soon as hominids left Africa, they were long-distance seafarers and rapidly spread all over the place, says Strasser. Previously, the oldest known settlements in Crete were believed to be just 9,000 years ago. The new evidence seems to point to the fact that these islands were occupied hundreds of thousands of years before by people coming from Africa on boats in open seas. These artifacts were found in the Savannah River in Allendale County, USA, by University of South Carolina archaeologist Dr. Albert Goodyear. Goodyear made radiocarbon tests of plant remains where the human artifacts were unearthed. They indicate that the sediments containing these artifacts are at least 50,000 years old. Meaning that humans inhabited North America long before the last ice age. This is an explosive revelation in American and indeed human archaeology. The dates could actually be older, Goodyear says. 50,000 should be a minimum age. Evidence of modern man's migration out of the African continent had been documented in Australia and Central Asia at 50,000 years and in Europe at 40,000 years ago. Topper is the oldest radiocarbon dated site in North America, says Goodyear. However, other early sites in Brazil and Chile, as well as a site in Oklahoma, also show that humans were in the Western Hemisphere perhaps 60,000 years ago. This discovery alone rewrites a significant chapter in human history. Coupled with evidence of boat building and open sea navigation from Crete, it paints a picture of humans who were no strangers to the seas, a people who could fashion seaworthy craft, a people who spread out rapidly all over Earth. It's almost certain these people were exactly like you and I. From the arrival of Homo sapiens 200,000 years ago, humans began a series of major evolutionary leaps forward. Advanced toolmaking, language, art, culture, and more appeared in this period. Now, new evidence shows that our migration out of Africa was sooner, swifter, and more widespread than has ever been believed, making humans a global phenomenon by 60,000 years ago. 60,000 years ago, humans just like us lived on every continent. They were just as intelligent, just as skilled. They were the top predator on Earth, and they could cross the seas, ascend the mountain tops, and command fire. What did they do? What happened to them? And how did they become us? Find out in the final part of the new history of humanity.